Here are my NBA game predictions for December 10th of 2021 during Week 8. So there's 9 games today. All the spreads that I have found are from FanDuel or websites that use FanDuel, and then in parentheses are my thoughts or bets that I would actually place on the games. So let's get started. For Kings at the Hornets, the spread is Hornets plus 1.5. I would personally put Hornets at plus 3.5, just give them more of a cushion. Kings can obviously get hot, but I think Hornets, they've lost 2 games in a row to the Sixers. Sixers are obviously a better team than the Kings, and Hornets played them well, so Hornets should win, but just to give them a cushion, I just take the spread on the Hornets, and then it would probably go over 228 just because both teams can score a lot, but I'm going to see one team getting cold, and then they just have a low-scoring game overall, like a low 100 or in the 90s, so probably be safer to put 220.5 for the total. For the Mavericks and the Pacers, the spread is Dallas plus 1.5. I think Dallas should win against the Pacers, so that's why I have them favored by 1.5 points. And then the total should be under 219.5 if you're just going off the spread, but I'd put over 212.5 just in case the Mavericks get hot. You never know how many points Luka can score, and then Dallas do shoot a lot of threes, and if they get hot from 3, that's a lot of points on the board. For the Knicks at the Raptors, so the spread's Raptors plus 4, but I think the Raptors can win this game against the Knicks. The Raptors had that tough loss against the Thunder, and they're playing at home, and they don't want to lose 2 in a row at home. So I expect them to come out sharper, more in tune with their game plan, and should be able to take down the Knicks. This game should go over 216, but to be more safe, 212. It's like they are NBA teams at the end of the day, so they should be over 212. They should be scoring like 100 points each game, no problem. For the Nets at the Hawks, so the current spread is Nets plus 1. I just would put Nets plus 4.5. There is the rumors of just playing. Well, you can see the minutes played by Durant and Harden. They're getting played a lot, so Ori mid-season might be getting a little sluggish during these games. All the Hawks they're younger, so they can play a little bit more minutes, so it might be a little more youthful. Overall, I do expect the Nets to win just because you have Durant and Harden on one team. That's almost a guarantee win each night. And if one of the two get hot, that's a win. So my over-under, I do have it under 223.5 if you're just going off the spread, just because Brooklyn can clamp down in the fourth quarter if they want to bring the game close and just win the game. But it'd be safer to have over 213.5 because Trae Young, Harden, Durant, they all can score the ball fast and get a lot of points on the board. For the next game, I have Pistons and the Pelicans. So I have Pistons plus 6, but I expect New Orleans to win. I really don't expect either team to pull away from each other. I just plan on the experience of Ingram and Valanciunas to help the Pelicans win this game out. As Valanciunas, he's just a big man. He should be able to just score in the paint well against the Pistons. I do expect this to go over 212. These are NBA teams. They should be scoring over 212, no problem. So if you ever see a spread where the over/under is around like 208 to 212, it's usually fairly safe to bet the over on that. For the Cavs and the Timberwolves, they have the Cavs plus 1.5, but I expect the Cavs just to win. They have been playing well this season. and I expect that to continue, even though the Wolves, they've also been playing pretty well, but I think the Cavs are just on a bigger streak right now than them, and I expect this game to be high scoring overall. These are young teams, so they're going to be running the ball up and down more, so that's just more shots on the board, which in turn leads to more points on the board. For the Lakers and the Thunder, so the Lakers played last night, and the Thunder have been playing. They have a win under their belt against the Lakers, so that's why I have Thunder +6 on the spread. But I think I'd take them +3 because Lakers are old. They're playing on a back-to-back, and the Thunder didn't play last night, and they're young, so they're gonna have more pep to their steps. So if there's ever like a fast break, the Thunder gain free points every time there's a fast break. So in turn, I don't think the Thunder should get blown out, and it should be closer. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder win. And that's why I have it over 217. I actually agree with the spread. That's something I would go with because there's fast breaks. The Thunder are going to score on those, and the Lakers still have LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Westbrook, so they can still score. And Lakers don't play defense that well, or don't try as hard, so Thunder get free shots too. For the Bucks and the Rockets, so the spreads are Bucks -8.5, but I'll bump that down to Bucks -5.5. Honestly, the Bucks should win by much more than 8.5. That should be like 14. But the way the Bucks have been playing, I'm very confused by it because you still have Giannis, you still have Holiday, and you have Middleton all playing, but yet they're struggling to win games. So gotta bump that spread down a little bit. And then I don't expect them to score that much either. Like the 224, I'd honestly would take the under 219 just because the Bucks, they can play defense. They can clamp down against a young team who are missing two of their rising stars. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks don't shoot the ball well, which in turn forces them to play defense, which in turn forces the Rockets to not score as many points. And lastly, we have the Celtics at the Suns. The Suns have had like 3 days off, so they should come in this game fresh for the first quarter. I wouldn't bet on them too much as they're probably just getting back into playing the game, but as the game goes on, I expect the Suns to really pull away on this one as the Celtics have been on the road this whole time for the West Coast. So I have the Suns at -9.5 compared to the spread at -5.5. And the over, I do agree with the 217.5 as I do expect the Suns to score somewhere between like 112 and 118, and the Celtics to be like around the low 100 area, so over 217.5 seems pretty safe to me. Those are my thoughts for the games for today. If you have any comments or any betting ideas for the spreads and over-unders or possibly some players, leave them down in the comments. And once again, thanks for watching.